Today I'm just gonna be making some bread. This is just like our basic sandwich bread that we eat throughout the week. And we have some turkey that needs to be eaten, so I'm gonna make some bread for that. So here I have our warm water. You want it to be about 110 degrees. And I'm going to pour in my yeast. I just have the active dry, not the instant. Of the water, I have 1 1/8 cup of warm water. It usually, sometimes I have to add a little more water, but for the most part, that's usually fine. And then we'll do 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. And then 1/4 teaspoon of the active dry yeast. And now into this same bowl that you put the yeast and the water in, you're gonna wanna do 1/8 cup of just regular granulated sugar. Just give that a little whisk. And then you wanna cover it for about 5 minutes until it starts to get frothy and it'll rise, you'll see. Now that 5 minutes has passed, our mixture is nice and frothy. You'll see that it looks like dough is rising. And I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that straight into my KitchenAid. Now that that is poured in, I'm going to add 1/8 cup of vegetable oil, and then half a tablespoon of salt. You can use table salt. Here I have sea salt. Then we are going to add 3 cups of flour, but we're going to use 1 cup at a time. This is just all-purpose flour. I don't use bread flour. You could if you wanted to, I'm sure, but I don't. And it's always turned out just fine for me. Like I said, add that 1 at a time. I'm gonna just take a spatula and mix that. I'm gonna add another cup. Mix a little bit. Just kind of make sure you're scraping the sides as you mix, just to really make sure you're getting everything incorporated. All right, and last cup. It doesn't have to be perfectly mixed because we're gonna end up kneading it with the machine. So just do what you can. All right, so I've attached my dough hook. Raise this up, and I'm gonna put it on medium speed for, I usually do it for about 4 to 6 minutes, but it really just depends on how long until the dough comes together. Now that the dough has been kneaded for I did about 6 minutes. It's nice and smooth. I am just going to knead it a little further on a lightly floured just board. And this isn't necessary, especially if you already hand kneaded. I just like to do it this way because it's easier for me to get it shaped into a ball. Okay, so once you have it kind of in that shape, we're going to take a large bowl. I like my clear Pyrex bowl. So I'm gonna take just a little bit of vegetable oil. Just a little, and drizzle it into a bowl. And I just take my fingers and I just rub it all along the bottom and the sides of the bowl. Now I just take our little dough ball and plop it right in the middle. And I'm gonna take that towel we used earlier and I'm just gonna cover it up. Since it's a warm day, it's gonna be okay to do just this. But if it's a colder day, I would suggest using plastic wrap and a towel on top, or you can use like beeswax. I've used that before, and put it in a warm space. If you don't have a warm space, if it's a sunny day out but it's just really cold, I suggest trying to put it in your car. That's what I used to do before I had my sunroom, and it always worked. So there's a little tip for you. But so we're gonna go ahead and put this in a warm spot for 1 hour. Okay, so an hour has passed and our dough has risen. It looks beautiful. This is how it should look. Now I'm gonna go ahead and punch it down because it's fun to do that. You don't have to, but it's always satisfying. So get yourself a lightly floured surface and grab your dough, and you're just gonna knead it a little bit more, and then we're gonna form it into a loaf so we can put it into our bread pan. So here I have my lightly oiled bread pan. I just used a little bit of that vegetable oil, and I formed my dough into a loaf shape. You're just gonna gently place it, more gentle than I just did. Gently place it in. So now that I have my loaf in the pan, you're just going to cover it again for 1 more hour. We are going to preheat the oven to 375. Now that your bread has risen, you can go ahead and put it in your oven. Remember, you want it on the bottom rack. The timer for 30 to 35 minutes. The bread is all done. Look at that beautiful golden top.
No, don't actually.